Chosen one, lock your attention on my voice right now. That urge to scroll past this message is not a random accident. You need to resist it completely. The enemy has been working overtime against your mind for one reason, and one reason only. He knows exactly what shifts in your reality the moment you receive these words. Heaven brought you here today. I know what the last few months have felt like for you. Waking at 3 in the morning with a heavy weight on your chest, walking through your own home, feeling like a total stranger. And even when you lie in bed next to someone you love, you feel a massive ocean of distance between you. Conversations stop the moment you enter the room. You feel completely unseen. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly why your love terrifies ordinary people. I will expose the lie that you are just too much to handle. And at the very end, I will give you the specific declaration that seals your frequency so you stop attracting broken connections. Do not click away. Your future self is waiting on the other side of this. Let us talk about the quiet pain you have been carrying in absolute silence. You have spent your entire life loving people who do not know what to do with your incredible depth. You give everything you have. You pour your beautiful soul into the people you care about. But somehow, you always end up receiving so little in return from the people you try to heal. It feels like a relentless cycle of bitter disappointment. They called you too sensitive. They told you that you feel things too deeply and demand far too much from a normal relationship. And after hearing it so many times, from so many different people, you actually started to believe their lies. You looked in the mirror and wondered if your heart was broken. You thought your emotional intensity was a terrible flaw that desperately needed to be fixed. But you were deeply misled by people who could not match your beautiful spirit. Think about the painful patterns you have lived through again and again. You meet someone, and they are immediately drawn to your incredible light and your profound healing energy. They love the peace you bring into their chaotic lives. But the moment you ask them to meet you in the deep waters of true intimacy, they absolutely panic. They pull away and leave you questioning your own fundamental worth. It is a devastating betrayal that leaves a lasting scar on your spirit. You have become the ultimate caretaker for broken souls. Everyone comes to you when their fragile world is falling apart. You listen and you heal, and you offer a safe harbor for their endless pain. But when you are the one who is bleeding, the room suddenly goes perfectly quiet. You look around for support and find absolutely no one standing by your side. The resulting isolation is almost entirely suffocating. This creates a quiet agony inside your spirit that nobody else ever sees. You start shrinking yourself just to make other people feel comfortable around you. You dim your brilliant light so you do not blind the ones you are trying to love. You swallow your heavy words and hide your true feelings just to keep the fragile peace in your failing relationships. But playing small is slowly destroying the beautiful person you were always meant to be. Your love is massive and pure and incredibly rare in this modern world. Yet you walk around every single day feeling like it is some kind of heavy curse. You wonder why ordinary people seem to find simple love so easily while you struggle endlessly in the lonely dark. They build their shallow relationships on superficial things and seem perfectly happy with that. Meanwhile, you are starving for a spiritual connection that actually touches your eternal soul. I see the quiet tears you cry when absolutely nobody else is watching you. I know how physically exhausted you are from being the strong one all the time for everyone else. You are so tired of translating your massive heart into a tiny language that ordinary people can finally understand. You just want to be seen and loved for exactly who you are, without any compromises. But that kind of deep love feels completely out of reach for you right now. This is exactly why the enemy wants you to feel hopeless and totally rejected. If he can convince you that your love is a burden, you will keep your heart locked away forever. You will stop shining your necessary light into a dark world that desperately needs it. But I am here to tell you that your recurring heartbreak was never a divine punishment. It was actually a very specific and powerful kind of cosmic protection for your soul. Before we go any further into this truth, I want to hold something very important in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a quiet spiritual community, but inside a sterile research laboratory. It is a profound scientific discovery that won the highest recognition available today, and it is something that most chosen ones have never been told about. This discovery perfectly explains something I know you have felt deep in your aching bones. It explains the massive gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in brief flashes. It perfectly describes why your powerful energy feels so horribly mismatched with the fragile people you desperately try to love. I will show you exactly what was found by these brilliant scientists, but I cannot reveal it to you just yet. First, I need you to fully understand what was actually taken from your beautiful spirit. I need you to see the real reason why your relationships always hit that same invisible wall. So I want you to hold this specific question in your mind as we continue. What if the massive gap in your romantic relationships actually has a precise scientific name? What if the terrible distance you feel is not a spiritual failure at all, but something entirely different? What if it is a neurological block, and it is fully reversible right now? Hold on to that thought. The final answer will shatter everything you thought you knew. But let me reframe your entire reality right now. That massive love you have been calling a curse was never a curse, because it is actually your greatest spiritual weapon. You are not broken. You were simply built for a completely different frequency. And while you worry about being too much, that exact frequency is what terrifies people living in shadows. Ordinary people operate on a very low and basic frequency of survival. They build relationships on shallow transactions because they are terrified of doing the deep inner work required for intimacy. When you walk into their life, your intense energy disrupts their safe little world. They do not run from your heart. They run from your blinding light. You have spent years believing that you were demanding too much from your romantic partners, but you are not asking for too much at all. You are simply asking the wrong people. You cannot pour a massive ocean into a tiny cup and expect it to hold the water while it is overflowing with fear. The cup will shatter, and then it will blame the ocean. Your painful isolation was never evidence of your disqualification from love. It is absolute proof of your divine selection. God did not remove those people to punish your heart, but rather he removed them to protect your sacred energy from being drained by vampires. Your heartbreak was a violent but necessary redirection. It made room for your calling. The people pulling away are not rejecting your beautiful soul. They are sensing a powerful frequency they cannot yet understand, and they are grieving the old version of you they are about to lose forever. You are standing between two distinct identities right now. The old you is dissolving. The new you is rising with incredible power and clarity. Here is what they never told you about this transition. The reason the universe responds to certain people is not just faith. It is not about discipline or pure luck. It is actually a very specific brainwave. Scientists have a definitive name for it, and they discovered how it actively controls your ability to connect with the divine. They call it gamma. This is the exact frequency your brain was running when you were a child. Think back to when you were very young. You possessed a genius level of empathy and rapid intuition. You felt the subtle emotions of everyone in the room before they even spoke a single word to you. Ideas came effortlessly. The world felt like it was completely on your side. That effortless genius was your natural gamma state. It was the biological radio receiver that kept you perfectly tuned to the highest spiritual frequencies available. But then, adulthood arrived, and the modern world went to terrible work on you. The chronic stress of survival began to slowly alter your mind. while the endless anxiety fractured your attention. The rigid school systems trained you to conform instead of create. They taught you to ignore your gut feelings and follow their arbitrary rules. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your conscious mind until you forgot how to use it entirely. You were forced to sleep. The version of you with that lightning intuition was buried alive under heavy layers of trauma and daily exhaustion. This is exactly why your deep connections suddenly feel so broken. The receiver that used to catch the pure frequencies of love is currently lying dormant inside you, waiting for the right moment to wake up. It is absolutely starved for power. You are trying to broadcast a massive signal through a completely damaged tower. When gamma fades away into nothing, your spiritual genius fades right along with it. Your deep synchronicities stop. The beautiful sense that the universe is working directly with you goes completely quiet, leaving you to navigate this difficult life entirely on your own. Most people will live their entire lives without knowing this tragedy happened to them. They will settle for shallow relationships and never question why they feel so empty inside, because they accept the misery as normal. But you are definitely not most people. You are a chosen one who senses the missing piece. And the question I asked earlier is vital. I asked you what would happen if the gap in your relationships had a scientific name. I asked you to consider that your heartbreak was a neurological block rather than a spiritual failure. The answer to that profound question is closer than you think, because the universe is aligning things right now to restore exactly what was stolen from you. The enemy does not want you to know this powerful secret. He needs you to stay confused and lonely and exhausted, because a chosen one who operates on a fully restored gamma frequency is absolutely unstoppable, and you become a massive threat to every system of control in this dark world. They desperately want to keep you weak and isolated from love. But here is where the narrative of your journey delves far deeper than most are willing to perceive. You have been asking God why your relationships keep falling apart. You wonder why every single time you open your heart, it ends in total devastation. The exact answer is the crucible, because a crucible is a heavy vessel used to melt down raw gold. It requires extreme heat to burn away all the useless impurities. The fire is never meant to destroy the precious metal hiding inside it. The massive heat is only meant to purify it entirely. Your life has recently become a profound spiritual crucible, and the people who walked away from you were simply the impurities being burned off. They could not survive the rising temperature of your spiritual elevation, so they had to leave you behind. Look at the profound story of Moses in the ancient wilderness. He spent 40 long years wandering in absolute isolation before he ever saw the burning bush. He was violently stripped of his royal titles and his comfortable relationships. God had to completely clear the room before he could finally speak to Moses without any outside interference. Your current isolation is exactly the same kind of divine consecration. You are not being punished for loving people too fiercely. You are being rigorously prepared for an assignment that requires absolute purity. God is actively purging your inner circle because the people around you were secretly compromising your beautiful frequency. They were subtly draining your energy while pretending to offer you their deep love. Heaven saw their hidden motives and removed them completely. I know it hurts deeply when the people you deeply trust suddenly betray you. It feels like a literal knife twisting in your chest when they walk away. But that violent exit was actually a massive rescue operation orchestrated by the universe, because if they had stayed in your life, their low frequency would have eventually suffocated your bright light. You would have shrunk yourself down just to keep them around. This is the absolute truth about why they had to leave. That is the first promise I gave you when we started this journey. The painful isolation happened to protect your heart from settling for a mediocre love. You were never meant to be a quiet background character in their chaotic drama, but you were beautifully designed to lead and to heal while carrying a massive frequency into the dark world. So stop crying over the empty seats at your quiet table. The universe emptied those chairs on purpose to make room for something far better. Because when God prepares a chosen one for a massive elevation, He always starts by tearing down the old structures. Your broken relationships are simply the debris of a collapsing prison. You are finally stepping out of the painful ruins and into your true power. There is a profound purpose in this very specific season of profound loneliness. You have to learn how to stand entirely on your own 2 feet. If you constantly rely on ordinary people to validate your incredible worth, they will always let you down. They simply do not have the spiritual capacity to understand the massive weight you carry. You must anchor your soul to something much higher than human approval. The fire of this spiritual crucible is establishing a brand new standard for your life. Anyone who wants to enter your space must now rise to meet your frequency. You will no longer lower your vibration just to make broken people feel comfortable in their toxic dysfunction. The season of shrinking yourself is completely over, and you are now stepping into a phase of radical and unapologetic authenticity. The universe is currently starving you of toxic connections to detoxify your heavy spirit. You have been feeding on tiny breadcrumbs of affection for far too long. Now heaven is preparing a massive banquet for you, but you cannot sit at the new table if you are still begging for scraps at the old one. The painful separation is just the universe forcefully washing your hands before the grand feast. You are a chosen one who carries a heavy and glorious spiritual mantle. Broken people are naturally drawn to the warmth of your spiritual fire, but they often panic when they realize the fire demands their own painful purification, and while they want your healing light, they absolutely refuse to step into the necessary flames. So they run away and blame you for being far too intense for their comfortable lives. Let their cowardly rejection be your ultimate spiritual liberation. You do not need their fragile validation to prove that your beautiful heart is real, because the Creator of the universe already verified your immense worth before you were even born. You are surviving the great crucible right now. And the pure gold that remains will shine brighter than anything this dark world has ever seen. And once that profound truth clicks into place, everything starts to shift. You finally stop chasing the broken people who were designed to leave you. You begin to understand the massive power of your own solitary presence, but there is still something underneath it that goes much deeper, because the world has built a very specific trap to keep you from realizing your true cosmic authority. Now, once you understand that profound truth, you are ready for this next massive revelation. The pain you feel is directly tied to the frequency you carry every single day. You see, when you operate on a much higher spiritual level, your energy naturally disrupts everything around it. Your very presence becomes a living and breathing radar. You do not even have to speak a single word to shake up the room. Your high frequency automatically pushes against any impure intentions hiding in the dark. It acts as a massive cosmic shield around your precious spirit. The people who abandoned you did not leave because you were lacking something. They ran because they could not endure the intense pressure of your pure light. Imagine walking into a pitch-black room and suddenly turning on a brilliant spotlight. The creatures that live in the dark will instantly scatter in absolute panic. They absolutely hate the light because it exposes all their hidden dirt and their secret lies. Your massive love does the exact same thing to broken people. It completely exposes their comfortable illusions. They like to pretend they are brave and ready for a deep romantic connection, but when your genuine love finally touches their fragile ego, their beautiful masks begin to melt away. You operate like a giant spiritual mirror for everyone who crosses your path. When they look deeply into your eyes, they do not just see your beautiful face. They are forced to see their own unhealed trauma. Your profound sincerity demands absolute truth from everyone around you, and most ordinary people are absolutely terrified of living in the naked truth. They are used to swimming safely in the shallow puddles of superficial relationships, but your spirit is a vast and incredibly deep ocean. The massive pressure of your deep water simply crushes fragile things. When they tell you that you are just too much, they are actually confessing their own severe limitations. You are not too much for the right person. Their capacity to receive love is simply too small to hold your massive frequency. They feel incredibly inadequate standing next to your spiritual fire, so they try to convince you that your blazing warmth is actually a dangerous hazard. Do not ever apologize for the heavy weight of your glorious spirit. What you carry inside your chest is not a tragic wound at all. It is a divine weapon forged in the fires of heaven. Your deep sensitivity is a precise cosmic instrument designed to detect incoming deception. The enemy told you to hide it because he is utterly terrified of what happens when you use it. Think about the majestic eagle preparing for a completely new season of flight. It must retreat to a high mountain rock and painfully pull out all its old feathers. The process looks like absolute destruction to anyone watching from the ground below. People looked at your painful isolation and thought you were slowly dying, but you were never dying or failing at all. You were molting. You were violently shedding every single attachment that kept you flying too close to the dirt. You are currently preparing for a totally different altitude. The people you left behind are completely unable to breathe the thin air up where you are going. Their lungs are built for the heavy smog of ordinary drama. Your lungs are now expanding to inhale pure cosmic power. Imagine two tuning forks sitting across from each other in a quiet room. When you strike one with a very high frequency, the other one must begin to vibrate at the exact same pitch. But if the second fork is made of cheap and brittle metal, the intense vibration will literally shake it apart. Your soul is vibrating at a massive divine frequency right now. The people around you were forced to match your intense vibration just by standing in your powerful presence. And because their spirits were incredibly brittle, the sheer force of your love shook their fragile foundations. They had to run away to stop themselves from completely shattering under your profound influence. Their sudden exit was an act of absolute spiritual survival. This frequency mismatch is the exact reason why the universe forcibly broke your bad connections. Heaven intervened to stop you from permanently anchoring your massive ship in a very tiny harbor. The sudden rejection was actually a beautiful redirection toward your true destiny. You were deeply grieving a profound loss that was actually a massive cosmic promotion. Every person who walked away took a massive piece of your heavy burden with them. You are now lighter and faster and far more aligned with your ultimate purpose. You are starting to finally realize that your profound isolation was a magnificent defense mechanism. It kept you perfectly safe from the subtle poisons of ordinary affection, but there is a hidden danger still lurking. Once that beautiful truth finally clicks into place, you are completely ready for the next crucial layer. There is a much deeper root operating secretly beneath your current season. If you do not see it clearly, it will keep running silently in the background of your mind. Coming up very soon, I will expose this hidden block. But first, you must let this powerful reality settle into your bones. Before we go any further, you need to let that massive truth settle deep into your bones. You are never broken just because you refuse to shrink yourself down for ordinary people. But there is a very deep tragedy hiding inside your current situation because you did not just lose those toxic relationships when they walked away. You actually lost a vital piece of your own mind. And you feel that terrible loss every single day. Think about the exact moment your deep intuition started to fade away. It did not happen all at once. It was a very slow and painful erosion of your natural spiritual gifts. You used to know things before they even happened, and you could walk into a crowded room to instantly read the hidden emotions of every single person there. Your mind was incredibly sharp. You felt perfectly aligned. Now you struggle to hear that beautiful inner voice clearly. You second-guess your own profound feelings and constantly wonder if you are just making things up in your head. The heavy static of this modern world has completely drowned out your sacred frequency. You feel like a giant radio tower that can no longer catch the right signal. And you quietly blame yourself for this failure. You assume your spiritual gifts were permanently damaged by all the severe trauma you endured. You think you have to spend the rest of your life meditating for hours just to feel normal again. But heaven never deletes the profound gifts it places inside a chosen one. The universe simply waits for you to clear the heavy interference so your spirit can breathe. Your frequency is still there. Before we go any deeper, I have to tell you something incredibly important. It is something the people who profit from your endless exhaustion absolutely do not want you to know. A dedicated team of brilliant neuroscientists working quietly away from the headlines has made a massive discovery. They found a precise way to bring this dormant brainwave completely back to life. They discovered how to restore your lost intuition without requiring years of impossible meditation. It does not require expensive biofeedback machines that cost $7,000 and demand a sterile clinical setting. They found something far simpler and far more aligned with how you were beautifully designed to work. It is a highly specific sound frequency built for your mind. This unique sound is perfectly engineered to guide your brainwave patterns back to the genius state you had as a child. Princeton University studied this exact phenomenon in deep detail. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed the massive power of this hidden frequency. And brilliant researchers at Columbia University found something even more miraculous about it. They discovered that when this specific brainwave is fully reactivated, it does not just stay trapped inside you. It radiates outward and begins to positively influence the people you love. Your restored energy literally shifts the atmosphere of your entire home, and it only takes 7 short minutes a day to begin this profound neurological restoration. It works almost immediately. I promise I will tell you exactly what this is called before this message ends. I will show you exactly how to access it so you can finally reclaim your stolen power. But first, there is something critical you must completely understand about why your breakthrough has been severely delayed. You have a secret enemy hiding right inside your own mind. It is quietly destroying your progress. This dangerous enemy is not a demon or a toxic person from your painful past. It is a quiet narrative you whisper to yourself. You have been unknowingly participating in your own spiritual suppression just to survive the intense loneliness of your calling. If we do not expose this hidden barrier right now, no frequency in the world will ever save you. You must prepare your heavy heart for a very difficult truth. I say this to you with absolute love and zero human judgment. The universe is completely ready to hand you the keys to your ultimate destiny, but you are still holding the heavy door shut from the inside because you are secretly terrified. You are afraid of your own immense power. Let us walk into the deep waters now. Heaven is calling you to step out of the comfortable shadows and finally claim your full spiritual inheritance. Your natural gamma state is waiting patiently to be switched back on after many long years of heavy silence. The incredible synchronicities you used to experience daily are about to return with massive force. But you absolutely have to let go of the comfortable lies first. We are about to cross a very serious threshold together in this very moment. Once you see the hidden block inside your own heart, you can never unsee it again. It will demand a radical change in how you view your entire existence on this lonely earth. The time for playing small and hiding your magnificent light is completely over. Your total liberation is standing right in front of you. But here is the part no one ever wants to say out loud. And I say this to you right now with absolutely nothing but pure love. The thing that has been quietly blocking your breakthrough is not just the external enemy, because it is a quiet decision you made entirely on your own. You are actually terrified of your own massive power. Please listen to me very carefully. This is absolutely not an accusation. It is the exact spiritual diagnosis that finally sets you free from your endless emotional pain. You have spent long years crying over people who could not understand your beautiful heart. But the real tragedy is how you willingly destroyed your own boundaries just to keep them around. You took the magnificent ocean of your love and desperately tried to pour it into a very tiny cup. And when that tiny cup inevitably overflowed and shattered on the ground, you actually apologized for being an ocean. You looked at your massive depth and decided it was a terrible burden. You quietly agreed with the heavy lie of human limitation. You started shrinking your beautiful energy just to fit into their incredibly narrow emotional spaces. You felt their severe discomfort whenever your bright light shined too strongly, so you consciously dimmed your natural frequency. You muted your sharp intuition and pretended to be completely blind just so they could feel perfectly comfortable in their daily darkness. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? You do it because a quiet part of you is absolutely terrified of being truly alone. You believe the cruel lie that if you stood in your full cosmic power, you would lose everyone you ever loved. So you traded your divine inheritance for a few cheap breadcrumbs of ordinary human affection. You became a brilliant master of quiet spiritual camouflage. You learned exactly how to hide your profound wisdom behind a safe and quiet smile. When you clearly saw their hidden motives, you stayed silent to protect their fragile and damaged egos. You constantly betrayed your own sacred truth just to maintain a fake peace in a completely broken relationship. But that fake peace is slowly destroying your actual eternal soul. You cannot force a massive eagle to live inside a tiny birdcage without breaking its beautiful wings. And you cannot force a chosen one to live inside an ordinary vibration without absolutely destroying their powerful mind. Your current exhaustion is simply the heavy price of playing small. The universe is watching you suffocate your own glorious spirit. Heaven gave you a frequency designed to literally move massive mountains and completely shift the heavy atmosphere. But you are currently using that divine power to quietly tiptoe around broken people. You are using your incredible gifts to avoid making ordinary people feel incredibly insecure. This silent compromise is the absolute heaviest block on your spiritual path. The enemy does not even have to attack you directly anymore. He just sits back and watches you willingly lock yourself inside a tiny emotional prison. He watches you apologize for the exact beautiful sensitivity that makes you a massive spiritual weapon. You have to completely stop apologizing for the massive size of your glowing heart. You must stop trying to negotiate your immense worth with people who are fully committed to misunderstanding you. Your profound love is not a chaotic flood that needs to be controlled by heavy dams. It is a pure cosmic river meant to flow without any human restriction. Every single time you shrink your massive energy, you are actively rejecting the exact spiritual design God gave you. You are telling the universe that a cheap imitation of love is much better than absolute truth. But you are so incredibly tired of living this painful lie. Your precious spirit is absolutely screaming for the total freedom to just be massive. The painful friction you feel right now is your soul refusing to stay in that tiny box any longer. You are finally outgrowing the small emotional containers you built to survive your very lonely childhood. The safety of playing small has officially become far more painful than the massive risk of standing in your blazing truth. You are entirely ready to break out. You no longer need their fragile permission to occupy your full majestic space. You do not need them to understand your high frequency before you decide to honor it yourself. The massive isolation you endured was perfectly designed to bring you to this exact breaking point, because it was designed to make you choose your own authentic soul over their comfortable illusions. And now comes the pivotal moment where everything in your reality permanently shifts. The universe is waiting for you to completely drop the heavy mask, and heaven is waiting for you to totally release the intense need to be needed by broken people. You are standing at the absolute edge of your old life. The new divine identity is calling your name right now. This is your absolute moment of total liberation. Not tomorrow or next week, right now. I want you to place your hand over your heavy heart and declare this out loud with me today. I completely release the heavy need to be needed by broken people. I release every single agreement I ever made with smallness. I am a chosen one. My deep sensitivity is not a weakness or a tragic flaw. It is my greatest divine weapon. I step fully into my massive spiritual assignment today. I know that my painful isolation was absolute preparation, and it was never a cosmic punishment meant to break me. My beautiful breakthrough is already here. Take a very deep breath and let that massive truth settle into your soul. You are finally free. The profound question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message: what if the terrible gap in your relationships has a scientific name? Here is the final answer. A highly specific brainwave was running inside you as a child at genius capacity, but it was suppressed by the heavy stress of your adult life. Princeton University has studied it. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed it. Columbia University proved its power. They found an incredible truth. When this brainwave is restored, it radiates outward and positively influences everyone you love. Dr. Robert Lake led this massive project. A dedicated team of brilliant neuroscientists spent years compressing the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into 7 simple minutes. But before I tell you what they built, let me tell you a story. I want to tell you about 2 chosen ones who used it. A woman from California had tried everything to heal. Meditation and manifesting simply did not break her heavy fog. After 2 weeks of listening, she said something miraculously cleared without any extra human effort. The blocked channel simply opened. Her broken marriage completely shifted. Her mind sharpened. She described her daily life as feeling enchanted for the first time. A man from Texas started using it to improve his scattered focus. 2 months later, his wife joked that his intelligence had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started solving themselves while he slept, because his brain was finally running on pure cosmic power. That is exactly what Dr. Lake and his team built. They call it the Genius Song. It is not a simple meditation app or a generic sound frequency. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. It is compressed from 1 full hour of clinical protocol into something you do at home with headphones. That is all it requires. You do not chant. You simply let the frequency do what your brain was designed to effortlessly receive. The Genius Song is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has already done the heavy inner work and who knows their missing piece is a restored frequency rather than more effort. Biofeedback sessions to restore this state cost hundreds of dollars per hour. An in-home machine runs thousands. What this delivers is available today for a fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses come with it to support your new altitude. You receive an audio track designed specifically for your children. You get the original prosperity text that the famous secret was built upon. It includes a guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain the gamma state. Here is the deeper spiritual truth about waiting for your absolute breakthrough. The provision God arranged for you does not arrive as entirely new information. It arrives as a sudden recognition. A suppressed brain completely misses the miracle. A restored brain receives it at full depth. What has been placed in your path is already there, and the only question is whether you arrive at it with the receiver online. The chosen one who restores the receiver today finally sees the true gift. Do not look for this on YouTube or Spotify. The tracks circulating on those platforms have absolutely zero brain entrainment technology encoded. The only authentic version is available through the protected link below. The universe requires zero risk from a chosen one, and you are fully protected by a divine guarantee that ensures your total peace. If your spirit does not feel the shift, every single penny is returned without question. That is an energetic exchange governed by complete divine trust. The link is waiting for you in the description and in the first pinned comment below. But remember that the tool is never the final destination. The tool simply restores the human receiver so the destination can be recognized when it finally arrives in your life. God does not require you to purchase anything to be loved. What was just described is simply one way the receiver is restored. Whether that path is meant for you or not, the absolute truth of this message belongs to you entirely. A simple tool can clear the blocked channel, but only the Creator of the universe can fill it with infinite love and purpose. Now let us return to the deep waters. We must go further into what is waiting for your beautiful soul. You are completely different now. You are not the exact same person who started watching this video a few minutes ago. Something profound has shifted deep inside your chest. The old version of you is officially gone. And while you used to believe your heart was a tragic burden, you now understand that your massive love is a cosmic gift. The painful cycles you survived were never wasted time. They were actively building the exact spiritual capacity you need for today. Every single heartbreak was a necessary lesson. Every tear you cried in total silence was watering the massive seeds of your new life. You finally understand that your immense love is a beautiful gift. It is definitely not a heavy curse you have to carry. And because you have survived the absolute darkest nights of your soul, you do not need anyone else to validate your incredible worth anymore. You are entirely whole. You are stepping into a reality where your light is fully honored. You no longer have to ask for simple permission to exist in your massive truth. The universe is currently realigning every single detail of your life to match this restored frequency. And when you finally stop chasing the wrong people who drain your spirit, the right people will begin to find you effortlessly. They will not be terrified of your beautiful depth. They will actually celebrate the intense spiritual fire you bring into the room. You will never have to shrink your massive energy to fit into their tiny expectations again. Your boundaries are now fully activated, and any toxic relationship that demands your absolute silence will simply bounce off your cosmic shield because heaven is actively protecting you. Please take a deep breath and let this ultimate truth sink in. Your massive breakthrough in love is not something coming in the distant future. It is already here. It is already moving powerfully through the unseen realms to reach you right now. You are exactly where you are supposed to be today. Heaven has absolutely flawless timing for your beautiful life. The profound loneliness you felt was just the quiet waiting room. God was busy decorating the massive banquet hall for your glorious arrival. You survived the intense isolation because you were born to carry a frequency that heals the entire world. And while ordinary people ran away from your blazing light, the universe was busy preparing a tribe that speaks your exact spiritual language. You will never apologize for being too much again. You are beautifully massive and entirely necessary. You are the chosen one who breaks the painful generational curses. You are the one who stops the tragic cycle of settling for less than absolute magic. The enemy tried his absolute best to keep your heart locked inside a tiny cage of fear, but his heavy chains are completely broken today. Your spirit is soaring higher than it ever has before. This is the beautiful beginning of your authentic chapter. You are walking into a season of extreme spiritual abundance and true connection. The people arriving in your next chapter will speak your exact language. They will not require you to translate your heavy soul into simple words, because they will just look at you and completely understand your power. For the chosen one whose spirit confirmed the frequency tool I described earlier, the path remains completely open. The specific resource is waiting for you in the description and the pinned comment. That is the very last time it will be mentioned today. What follows now belongs entirely to your final spiritual sealing. We are closing this sacred door together, right now. Let us seal this profound divine appointment today. The heavy season of painful preparation is officially complete. Your massive assignment in love and light starts right now. And tomorrow morning, when you finally open your weary eyes, you are going to wake up feeling completely different than you did before. The heavy weight will be entirely gone. A beautiful peace will settle deeply into your weary bones. You are finally ready to embrace the massive love you deserve. I want you to gently press the like button on this video right now. Do this so the algorithm can push this exact blessing to another chosen one who desperately needs hope tonight. There is someone out there crying in the dark, and your simple action today could literally save their beautiful life while they feel entirely alone. Share this message with someone who has also been called too sensitive or too quiet. They need to know they are not completely crazy. They need to hear that their massive heart is a divine weapon. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications immediately. You do not want to miss the next massive revelation about who you really are in this universe. Type the word yes in the comments below to affirm your new identity. Type exactly how you feel if you fully receive this massive breakthrough today. Let your physical action be the final seal on your spiritual deliverance. You are seen and you are fiercely loved by the magnificent creator of the universe. Walk forward in absolute peace and never look back at the dark. Your new life is loudly calling your beautiful name. The old shadows have completely lost your grip on your massive soul. You are a blazing light in a world that desperately needs your specific frequency. Keep your heart wide open to the glorious heavens above. You are absolutely ready for everything that is coming. Step completely into your true power right now. You are no longer a victim of a broken world. You are a powerful creator of a beautiful new reality. The love you have been searching for was never outside of you. It was always waiting for you to simply realize your own immense value. Thank you for spending this sacred time with me today. You are a massive blessing to this earth.